This video presents a simple tool that can be used to write and automate tests against T-SQL code. It is called TST, which stands for T-SQL Test Tool. It is similar to other tools like SPUnit. However, it offers a richer and more mature set of features. You need SQL Server 2005 or later on the system where you want to install the tool. The tool is available for download on the Codeplex website. Go to http://tst.codeplex.com. From there, click on the Releases tab. To start the download, locate the section Downloads and Files and click on the link provided there. Go to the folder where you extracted the contents of the downloaded zip file. Double-click on the file tst.bat. This will install on your local SQL server a database called TST. It is all you need to start using the tool. We will start with a simple example. Let's say we have a database called Fred. Here we define a function called tinyInt2binary. This function takes a tinyInt parameter and returns a string representation of its binary value. For example, when called with the value 11, it will return the string 1, 0, 1, 1. If we want to test this function, we have several options. A method that many people use is to write a short SQL query that invokes the function and compares the actual result against the expected one. In our case, it could be something like this fragment. We can place this query in a comment and save it along with the rest of the code. Although simple, this method has several disadvantages. These tests are saved as comments, and most likely they are never going to be run again. Because of this, they offer no protection against regressions. Also, they may become outdated when the code they test changes later. TST offers a more reliable approach, and here is how. We are going to start by creating a test store procedure. We can create it in our database Fred, or if we want, we can save all the test procedures in a separate database. For this demo, we'll save it in Fred. We will call this test procedure SQLTest_tinyInt2binary. The prefix SQLTest_ will allow TST to recognize it as a test and pick it up automatically during a test session. Inside this stored procedure, we are going to invoke our function. We'll assign the returned value to a variable and then compare it against the expected result. To do the comparison, we'll use a TST API called assert.equals. In case of a mismatch, assert.equals will stop the test procedure and log an error. Let's execute this script. By executing the script, we are not running yet the content of the procedure. We only make sure that the procedure was created. At this point, we have a test store procedure that TST can identify and run automatically during a test session. I will open a new script window and write exec tst.runner.runAll followed by the name of our database. What happens when we execute this command is that TST will inspect the database Fred. It will detect all the test procedures from there and run them. Each test is run inside the transaction, and each such transaction is rolled back at the end of the test. In this way, all changes made to the database by a test will not interfere with subsequent tests. Let's execute this command. Here is the result that indicates that the test is passing. We are going to switch back to the first script and add more to our test. Let's say that the contract of tinyInt2binary specifies that when called with a null parameter, it will return null. We are going to validate this part of the contract using a different TST API. Assert.isNull. We are also going to validate a few more cases with various values for the input parameter. Let's execute this script to make sure we update the test procedure. And now let's run our test again. This time, instead of using SQL queries, we'll switch to a command prompt window. I'm going to type tst run all, again followed by the name of the database where our test procedure is. Here is the result, and it indicates that the test is passing. Since you can run tests from the command prompt, you can easily integrate TST with build and test processes that you may already have. If you do that, keep in mind that TST can generate results in an XML format. TST has some other important features like an API that supports table comparison. This means that you can use TST to validate store procedures that return a table. You can also use the same API to test functions that return tables or to test views. You can group tests in suites. You can create setup and teardown procedures for suites. TST can run concurrent test sessions against the same or different databases. This can be very useful in larger environments where several instances of build or test automation share one server. The TST documentation, including the Quick Start section, has more details about all these features. To install the TST Quick Start database, go to the command prompt to the location where you downloaded the tool and run tst/quickstart. To execute the sample tests contained there, run tst/runAll and the name of the Quick Start database, which is TST Quick Start. The TST documentation has a lot more details, but if you have questions that are not answered there, feel free to leave me a message in the discussion area on the TST Codeplex site at http://tst.codeplex.com.